Chapter 763, President Mo, is everything alright? Even if someone is to teach him, that someone would be Tang Ning. Did you think that Tang Ning's acting isn't as good as yours? The staff whispered into Wang Fushuo's ear. Wang Fushuo froze for a moment and cleared his throat to get rid of the awkwardness. President Mo, is everything alright? Director Chen Feng approached Mo Ting personally to check on him. Mo Ting gently shook his head and reassured the director with this small gesture. As mentioned previously, Mo Ting had suffered a lot when he first took over Hyrule. But, to prevent himself from being used by others, he personally experienced everything within the industry himself. Whether it was singing or acting, he forced himself to learn about it and to get used to it. Because he understood, as long as he had things under control, he wouldn't need to ask others for help. Okay, get ready. It's time to start filming. Chen Feng returned to the camera and reminded Tang Ning, take notice of any changes in your emotions. Tang Ning looked at Mo Ting before she nodded at the director. The first scene was of the moment that Junlin noticed Tang Ning's character getting excited over some interesting knickknacks that the eunuch had brought from the outside world. However, she had never smiled like that in front of Junlin. So, he was angry. The camera first showed King Lan facing Junlin sideways. After zooming in for a close-up of King Lan, it would then focus on Junlin. Can President Mo really do it? I'm nervous. I think I'm more nervous than President Mo. President Mo's not an actor. When he's quiet, he is like an ethereal being. I hope he doesn't destroy himself with his actions. Before the set was cleared, the remaining members of staff placed their gaze upon Mo Ting. They were afraid that he wouldn't be able to act and would be a disappointment. In reality, they didn't have high expectations. Some of them even covered their eyes, afraid that the scene awaiting them would be terrible. As soon as the clapperboard clapped down, Tang Ning could be seen sitting on a carved wooden bench and giggling as she flipped through a picture album. At this time, Junlin stepped in and saw the joy on her face, so he said, I've never seen you laugh like this. This is the first time. King Lan lifted her head. As soon as she saw Junlin, she quickly hid the album behind her back in surprise. Junlin flicked back his robe and sat down on the wooden bench. His gaze and tone of voice contained a sense of disappointment. That's right, it was disappointment. He then lowered his head and tried to suppress his emotions before he transformed back into the Junlin that King Lan knew. However, as he spoke, his voice sounded a little dull. I thought, over the years, after depending on each other for so long, you would not feel like you had to hide anything around me. But, in the end, I was simply faced with disappointment. Do I make you so unhappy? King Lan looked a little sad, but she held back her emotions and replied, if you don't have anything else, please leave. I am tired. After speaking, King Lan stood up from the bench. However, just as she took one step, Junlin grabbed onto her wrist, pulled her back and pressed her against the carved wooden door. The two looked at each other. The fire in Junlin's eyes looked ready to explode. He looked cold and in pain, yet angry and helpless. The complicated emotions made him confused as to what to do. So, his hands trembled. I told you to be careful of the eunuch. My son, you should be calling me mother. You don't believe me? Junlin asked as he gripped onto King Lan's neck. Junlin, don't forget our identities. I am your mother. I can use whomever I want. It is my business. You have no right telling me what to do. But, what to do? I've already replaced the eunuch. From today onwards, he will no longer appear in Taichan Palace. King Lan's face turned red as veins began to show in her eyes. Soon, tears began to flow down her cheek, past her jaw, eventually landing on Junlin's right hand. But, she had a stubbornness in her eyes. Bring him back. Hearing this, Junlin loosened his grip on King Lan's neck and looked at her with ridicule. I forgot. Mother has no intention to hurt me over an outsider. After speaking, he retreated a few steps and left without looking back. King Lan leaned against the door as her soft sobs turned into a painful cry. Cut! Director Chen Feng yelled, before he stood up and exclaimed, that was great. I never knew President Mo had such a hidden talent. Most importantly, I can't believe the two of you completed the scene in one take. Everyone on set were stunned. What just happened? When did the scene end? Everyone held their breaths. The way that Mo Ting strangled Tang Ning made them feel like they had been strangled. It was much too realistic. Junlin is deeply in love. Oh, King Lan has it really tough. She has to control her emotions while dealing with Junlin's tenderness. It's so heartbreaking. Wait a minute. What did I just see? Mo Ting is amazing. No one has ever said that President Mo can act. He can do everything. Does he still want the rest of us to live? Chen Feng looked at the confused expression on everyone's faces and explained to them, President Mo wasn't born with this talent. He had gone through training when he first took over Hyrule. How come no one knew about it? I think even Tang Ning wasn't aware of this. Mo Ting actually knew how to act. In fact, his acting was unfathomable. As soon as everyone found out about this, they were filled with excitement. This world was too amazing. How could a man be this perfect? After stepping off the set, Mo Ting returned to his usual cold self, dressed in a tidy suit with a serious expression on his face. But, when he was in his costume, he immediately became Junlin. Did you still want to teach President Mo how to act? With President Mo's smooth acting, your skills are just like child's play. Wang Fushuo scoffed and turned around with his arms crossed. When a man is too perfect, they become boring. A capable actor was capable of leading the other actors they worked with, especially those that participated in the same scene. Tang Ning had already gotten used to controlling her emotions. But, just a moment ago, when she was filming with Mo Ting, she truly forgot she was Tang Ning. Her every response was a reaction to Mo Ting's response. So, she couldn't imagine the level of Mo Ting's acting. This man deserved a beating. How could he say that he couldn't act when they were at home? So, President Mo, can you explain what this is all about? Didn't you say that you couldn't act? Tang Ning asked as she lifted an eyebrow. Chapter 764, Strongly request for the crew to announce the name of the male lead. I honestly can't act. Junlin is the one that can. Mo Ting smiled gently. As for the reason why the couple managed to film the scene in one take, it was because Mo Ting had helped Tang Ning rehearse while the drama was still going through its preparation stage. I'm going to make you pay when we get home, Tang Ning said in a dissatisfied tone. Mo Ting simply replied with a loving smile. Ha ha, this time we will definitely win against the other drama. The staff were extra excited. As Mo Ting was now a part of the cast, everyone was experiencing an emotional high and were exceptionally excited. When the other cast members finished filming their parts, they stuck around to watch Tang Ning and Mo Ting act. The feeling created by watching two formidable forces up against each other, let everyone learn the art of acting as well as experience the feeling of heartbreak. They were like viewers behind a television screen. When they witnessed sweet scenes between Tang Ning and Mo Ting, they would laugh like crazy. But, when they filmed heartbreaking scenes, they would find themselves crying tears of sadness. Oh God, I can't wait for the edited version. But the other drama has already been completed halfway. Who cares about them? They started way ahead of us. With our rate of progression, I'm sure we will catch up very soon. Watching Tang Ning and Mo Ting acting together is so satisfying. Of course, all this happened on the set of the drama because everything was kept confidential and nothing was leaked to the public. Whenever Mo Ting had no scenes to film, he would appear at Hyrule and appear in front of the public like he had no involvement with filming. But, in reality, he quite enjoyed acting with Tang Ning. The Forensic Concubine was quite enjoyable because the love and hate between Junlin and King Lan made the drama feel complete. During this time, there was endless news about a concubine Ning. Beiyu couldn't find any information on the Forensic Concubine, so she couldn't eat nor sleep. Her photo had already lost to Tang Ning, she wasn't going to lose in anything else. So, she hired a professional paparazzi and instructed him to sneak into the filming studio to find out who the male lead of the Forensic Concubine was. But, unbeknownst to them, the crew of the Forensic Concubine were carefully selected and had gone through specific training. So, when someone came to get information, one of the staff simply smiled and replied, "We hired a new actor who has never acted before." Are you sure? Of course. You don't believe me? Everyone on set knows this. The paparazzi returned to Beiyu with the information he had gathered and Beiyu slammed her hands on the table in response. That's great. Moting is indeed tricky. He was afraid that the public would disagree with him hiring a rookie, so he kept the entire filming under wraps, forcing the public to accept it after filming is complete. They did indeed hire a new actor and he had indeed never filmed anything before, but Bayu did not suspect that anything was weird. Soon, the rumor that the forensic concubine had hired a rookie and was too afraid to reveal it to the public, was leaked to the outside world. This, of course, attracted objection from fans of the novel. They loved the character of Junilin too deeply, so there was no way they'd let it be ruined. If it's an actor with no experience, we refuse to watch it. Exactly. Our Junilin is a pitiful yet powerful man. I don't want someone to end up portraying him like a stupid and sweet boy. I refuse. I refuse. I strongly request for the crew to announce the name of the male lead. Such a small scheme was enough to put the forensic concubine into a crisis. What a joke. These fans have no brains. Bayu scoffed after seeing the comments left on the forensic concubine website. This President Mo is quite stupid. Even if he had no choice, he shouldn't have gone with this option. Yuji is smart for throwing the other crew into a crisis. But, it wasn't that they didn't want to announce the male lead. They were afraid that if they announced it, they'd shock everyone to death. So, even with everything that was happening, the forensic concubine took on the pressures and continued to film into the night. But, because of provocation from Bayu, Haru's PR became extremely passive. So, news quickly spread on set that the situation had escalated to a point where fans were attacking the author, Tangjil. Moting immediately gave Feng Yu a phone call, settle the fans. After Huang Fushuo heard that the incident definitely had something to do with Bayu, his entire body boiled in anger. It was bad enough that she was pretentious, she even tried to hurt others. He really wanted to tear off her mask. Meanwhile, Feng Yu had not contacted the fans of the novel yet. After all, he had nothing to subdue them with, and even if he did, every fan had a different ideal for Junilin. His only choice was to reveal the truth. Otherwise, it was too difficult to make them settle down. But, if he really couldn't subdue a few simple fans, then he wasn't Feng Yu. So, he did not personally mention the male lead. Instead, he indirectly used Tangjia to talk to the fans. The forensic concubine has suffered many obstacles. Due to manipulation from a particular person, every single male lead candidate ended up rejecting the role. Because of this, I had already suffered a setback. But, I never expected that my fans would also become my enemy's weapon. I have faith in Haru in the production, so, why can't you guys have faith in me? I created Junilin, one word at a time. Don't you think that I'd care about him more than you? Since it's an actor that even I acknowledge, then it must mean the truth is unlike the rumors. As my fans, have you not considered my situation? By causing a commotion, how do you expect me to react? After all that you've done, who do you think is the final benefactor? I offered this script without accepting any money for it. So, don't you dare say that I got paid out. Also, Tangning accepted this role as a friend. We simply want to bring the forensic concubine to life. I never expected my fans to end up opposing me. Shouldn't you know who my true opposition is? It was the crew of a concubine Ning. After Tangjia's reminder, most of the fans finally came to their senses and realized that they shouldn't allow themselves to be used. Haru definitely had a reason for their actions. Plus, knowing that everyone was putting so much effort into producing the drama, they realized that they shouldn't act as obstructions if they were truly fans. When the time is right, Haru will naturally announce the male lead. I can make a small revelation. He is better than the male lead in our opposition's drama and is even better than the two previous candidates. If the result is not according to what I've said, I will immediately withdraw from the web novel industry and never write again. With Tangjia's guarantee, the fans immediately regained their confidence in the drama. In fact, they began to ridicule the opposing drama. The oppositions sure are evil and shameless. They even tried to drive a wedge between the production and its fans. Isn't this because my forensic concubine made them nervous? So, they did something so disgusting and shameless. Forget about it. I have faith in the drama. Since Xiao said that the male lead is his dream man, then he must be perfect.
Hit the like, thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.